We are happy to announce that this episode of the SW Show is partially brought to you by Humble Bundle. Well, not really. We are part of the Humble Bundle referral program, and we just wanted to say that if you like really cheap games and maybe helping charity pending the Humble thing going on, all you have to do is go to humblebundle.com/partner equals SWW. That's right, humblebundle.com/partner equals SWW. And you just do your normal stuff, and it just kind of helps us get a couple bucks here and there. Maybe it helps AJ get his lights, maybe it's Mike camera, maybe we actually pay Corey for helping us out. But again, if you're going to go buy games anyway, it might be worth checking out.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Movie Club here on the SWW Show Network. Today, we have got the Bikeriders. Okay, serious
So we're
question.
gonna start. Yeah.
This is supposed to be the book that is about Hell's Angels, right? Just set in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
And then especially, it's not a spoiler, so it doesn't matter, so we don't have to say spoiler warning yet. But in the credits, they show some of the photos that the actual journalist took. And the fact that they blur out the patches for the, in the real photos, makes me believe that it's supposed to be the Hell's Angels book.
They just can't say it. How come they can't say it?
Why can't they say Hell's Angels? Probably to avoid any, licensing, shenanigans that they may run into. But yeah, also, like, if it's gonna be the book based on the Hells Angels, set it out west. Right, like, unless it's specifically based on so it's Danny Lyon. His book, The Bikeriders.
Maybe an anti-Midwest movie.
I'm not anti-Midwest. I'm anti-Y.
Why it's here?
Like, if it's supposed to be the Outlaws, is what it's looking like. Yeah, okay. The Chicago Outlaws. So it was, the book is actually, it's not Hunter S. Thompson's book about the Hells Angels. So, I'll give it a pass, knowing that.
Well, what's your initial, like, you walked out of the theater, and what was your gut reaction to this film?
Oddly enough, I felt it was too short.
Interesting, really.
Strictly because I wish they would have explored more of what happened after. Right, I get from the film standpoint, it's Kathy's story, and it's the journalist interviewing her. But I wish they would have expanded on when the Vandals became a true gang and really started to revolutionize the way that motorcycle clubs just started to become gangs. that was my one kind of big gripe with it. Was I was happy it was under 2 hours, but I wish they would have explored more about the after effects.
I could have made it 220 or two. Like it's funny because under two like isn't that long. Like for a film like this, like I understand we're doing like faster pacing films now, but in a lot of ways you could see a world where you could pull another half hour of content, 20 minutes, just kind of expand on some of that stuff.
I mean, even if it's a 10-minute segment, right? Like making it 2:15 and being like, okay, really getting into maybe even more of the post life that Benny and Kathy had in Florida. Right? Or even doing a modern style interview where it's set in the late 90s, early 2000s. Just another jump so you can get a little more kind of post context.
You gotta ask the question for you then. Looking at this and kind of thinking that on mind, then what was kind of your general opinion of like the cast as a whole? Because I feel like this is one of those films that we walked into that like in the trailers that Tom Hardy was getting a decent amount of slack for that I'd say very heavy accent.
I think coming out of it in terms of the cast, it's very apparent that Hollywood wants Austin Butler to be James Dean. Right? They want somebody of that kind of.
So I think Austin Butler is an example of recently someone we got that is an up and coming movie star and has shown it.
Well, but just from like they're putting him in all these roles that are, save for Dune 2, right? Like it feels like if we could go back in the day, this is very clearly, one of those roles that would be played by, take your pick of kind of the sexy man, sexy hard man of the time, right? Like, other guys that were like, I mean, you could see Paul Newman in this role.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm trying to think about like would this be an 80s Tom Cruise movie?
I could see Tom Cruise being that, but he would have to be very serious in the role, which a lot of his roles aren't normally.
It'd be like a Sean Connery would try to do like around Bond.
Yeah. That's a tough one. Only because for me, Sean Connery during that Bond was like a suave, sexy man. Whereas this kind of needs that rough, a Clint Eastwood type.
This would be like Clint Eastwood would play, but he'd be like 40 years too old, but still playing him. That's what this role is.
Maybe I would have loved to have seen Clint Eastwood in this movie as like a very old, like an original motorcycle club member.
And that would work too. God damn it!
Like the guy that he was there around the invention of the motorcycle in the motorcycle club, like that post World War I crew.
That makes sense. But yeah, so what was your kind of? Otherwise, we kind of just walked around. What was your thought? Because I thought the movie was surprisingly entertaining. I do think it shows its budget limitations at points, but I do think it's one of those that they found a way to kind of make it feel right and not like too much of that problem. But I do think kind of like you kind of tell that it's more of an independent type film compared to other stuff we've seen recently.
I was gonna say I'm looking for the budget.
It was like 14 mil, I think. Budget 30 to 40. So now its box office is like 14.
Yeah. Um, I will say this: it does a very good job of feeling like the late '60s in Chicago.
No, that's very true.
So even though yes, they had the budgetary limitations. First off, how much of that budget went to finding all of these motorcycles?
Oh God.
Right, like, because they're riding some pretty old motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them are beautiful. I love that the base Vandals, the original Vandals, it's what it used to be, right? Like, it used to be you just had your stock bike and you guys met up. So they were in the stock riding positions, right? Like super straight back, really low handlebars. And then you start getting into the choppers and stuff like that towards the end of it. But I just love that they found a bunch of these old Indians and old Harleys and that.
How long do you think it took for them to find it all? Like too long, right?
I think once you found one or two of them, you could get connections to find the rest.
That's right. It's probably like a small community where really it's just a few of them.
Yeah, like guys riding these 40s and 50s bikes still to this day that are in that condition, they all know each other. Right? Like, this isn't a normal thing. It's a very small community that still keeps these bikes in that condition. So.
No, that is true. What did you think of like the style and looks? I think that's something that I think this film should get praise for. I think has been is that like it has the Chicago grill. I also think it does have the like it doesn't do the trapping. So I think a lot of like modern movies do the like here's a old set film, but it still feels modern. I do think they kind of were able to make this feel a little less modern. I'm concerned this trap could have been.
I mean, it goes a long way to have the guys just be dirty all the time. Right? I think that's a thing that films that try to go period miss out on is the lack of hygiene until like the mid 70s probably. Right, where it's like not everyone had showers, right? They had baths. So you might take a bath like a couple times a week. But if you can't afford it, right, you're just not taking it. Right? It's not the way in modern society, like taking a shower is basic hygiene at this point. Like everyone should be doing that. No matter your situation. So
That's very true. What other pieces or kind of parts of it kind of stood out to you that you were willing to touch base on?
I mean, costume design was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like the one part of the hair and makeup costume design that I thought was so bad were the fake teeth that Norman Reedus wore. Because they're so very clearly stuck over his real teeth.
What? No.
And it's just like, I get it, that's the easy way to do it, but it looks bad.
Oh, it looks horrendous. That is the worst thing. And it's funny because like this film, I think I did have a decent fear coming into of other makeup pieces being bad because just realistically, pieces like this, I think it's hard to kind of keep the look going before it starts looking cartoony.
I'll give the team credit. The character of Johnny, Tom Hardy's character, I felt they did a very good job of making him seem genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's not out there. He's not out there to run it as a gang. He just wants to sit around and talk about motorcycles. And protect his crew. And that's it. Right? He's not into having to run drugs or indiscriminate murders or stuff like that. He's a genuine person, and if you get on his good side, he'll support you.
But if you don't, he will run you down.
If you don't, then yeah, you run the risk of getting on his bad side and they burn your bar down. But which I'll say this: the hold on the shot of Benny getting whacked in the back of the head was pretty good.
We expect like it's interesting because like I think they were able to run that fine line pretty well of like films like this either get too serious or too slapsticky, and I do think they found a way to actually run that line pretty tightly. I don't know if you had a different impression.
I mean, I felt like they did a good job because they didn't get into... Because it's more or less being told as Kathy retelling it to the journalist. Right, it's not just based on the book.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can walk that line a little easier because it can be seen as, oh, this is Kathy's interpretation of what happened.
Versus it being just kind of told this is like what happened.
Yeah.
It's fair. It's still interesting to me just because that it felt like looking at it that like those trailers I remember talking, I think I asked you and I was like, do you think we could have asked? I'm like, I just couldn't tell walking into it.
Yeah, and well, I would like it to be longer, right, to get some more post story out of it. I feel like if it was a little bit longer, it may run the risk of getting a little overzealous.
Mm-hmm.
So
That is very, very fair. Yeah. This is the Bikeriders. Looking at a few, would you recommend this?
yeah.
What's that? Because I think you had a hesitation. I kind of almost feel like I have a hair hesitation of like.
Oh no, sorry. The
I think
hesitation was me yawning. It was not like me.
Oh wow. Because I think to me the hesitation is I'm curious if this is a for everyone film or kind of like do you need to be like the more of a film person to enjoy this is kind of where I'm kind of hesitating on.
I don't know if you necessarily need to be a film person to enjoy it. It helps.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. But then, they do a good enough job that You just don't necessarily need to. You don't really need to be a huge movie fan. Like, it tells a okay story, it does a good job, like, that's it.
Yeah. Perfect. Again, the movie is Bikeriders. The only one I want to shout is, were you familiar with the director for this? Because I can't say I was really familiar with Jeff Nichols.
Um, the name didn't ring a bell, but looking at what he's done, it looks like he's mostly a writer. Actually, he's a writer-director. He seems to direct everything that he writes. The previous one I would have known him from is Mud. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but yeah, he's doing a good job. I'm excited to see what he does next. But yeah, to continue with us next. Next time you'll catch us talking stuff for the month and SW show and a bunch of reviews coming up. We have a new game, I guess we're shooting for a bit, about the nice killing of old people, so go check out those archives if you missed it. It's killing old people, we describe the game the best.
I think it's just called I Wish You Would Die.
So,
And that's
my line stands. So, yeah. Real good cheers next time. But yeah, go check it out. Go see theaters. Go support your local cinema because let's be honest, they're dying. And this is the first year I think that's been a legitimate concern post the pandemic that, like, I don't think we're recovering.
I think it's the problem of post-pandemic, also cost of living has gotten out of hand for a lot of people. Movies are a very easy thing to say. We don't need that.
Mm-hmm. No, that's very true. Especially with, for most people, the idea of like how TVs have reasonably caught up or gotten way better than the difference used to be.
Yeah.
So, and well, if you get one of those like $5 or $6 movie deals by you, see that stuff. Go check out because a lot of local theaters still have that stuff, and go see if maybe they'll have the one you need. So,
yeah.
We'll see you guys next time.
The SW Show and all of its affiliate podcasts are podcasted by me, Mike Maroney, and AJ Losi, sometimes by our contributors, including Corey King. You can follow the SWW Show on social media at the SWW Show, or sooner or later you go to patreon.com/SWW to help us out. Thank you. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day.